Hi, what's up? We're in the next part. Please go check out the previous part to gauge your bearings. You're going to need the context in the previous part, because if you don't have that context, you might be confused as to what in the world am I talking about, because you're just bandwagoning only now. And the context is important this time around because it's linking some bigger story that I'm telling. Usually people can listen from the second part and not listen to the first part and somehow still catch what's going on. This time around, I really don't think you're going to be able to do that. So please check out the first part. Okay, yeah, I was talking about how it is that I realized that my country was just these nether regions. And so for those reasons, I could not imagine that I was ever going to be a viable economic citizen in my land anymore. Like South Africa had just abandoned me. It was no longer an option for employment. I knew that my country would attempt to make me a waitress at a restaurant, despite being this gifted. I knew my country would attempt to make me a call center agent. I knew that my country would attempt to make me a project administrator. I knew that my country would attempt to make me the secretary of some perverted man. I knew that my country would attempt to go and grab a whole skilled professional that is highly educated and put them in the entry level of corporate South Africa as ingo to a whole grown woman that has done the time, and yet I'm starting again from scratch. I knew South Africa would attempt to start me from scratch, and given my innocence, I would not have been able to survive that. I would have been too bereaved to sit it out. I would have felt patronized perpetually. I would have ended up kind of recalcitrant and hard to work with, therefore, as a result of being undermined despite being as gifted as I am within corporate South Africa. I saw that there was no way that I was going back, because ain't nobody trying to call me for a project management job, a management consulting job, a program management job. Ain't nobody trying to call me for what it is that makes sense for me. So what I'm gonna do is essentially just accept that while I was pushed into this unexpectedly, it was a plan I had anyway to one day be a whole thriving entrepreneur. I'm going to have to. But how do you become an entrepreneur when you have no money, when you have no startup capital, when you also don't have any angel investors trying to have your back, when there are no venture capitalists out there trying to look at your particular ideas? Top of that, the thing that I wanted to be an entrepreneur in was the consulting space within management consulting. I wanted to start a firm of that nature when I've got all these years in my CV of not having perused aisles of corporates in South Africa. Who in the world under heaven is going to be prepared to take my particular company's services up, especially considering just at the cusp of graduating and getting my degree at Wits University, I lost everything. The rug was pulled from under my feet. So over and above having all of this gap in my CV, I also look like a matriculant. When I saw that being what I was facing, essentially, I realized that if I'm going to get to the earning potential that I need to get to, or to get to the earning reality, never mind potential, that I need to get to in order to essentially look like nothing ever happened. These 10 years that progressed, it never happened. At the time, it was 8 years. If I'm going to earn the kind of money that I would have been earning if I had not lost anything, I cannot for the life of me imagine I'm going to get anywhere with that in corporate South Africa. They have harassed me violently, these South Africans, with their corruption, and I have lost everything, including earning potential income, loss of income. I have like a whole lawsuit that never ever took off that would have won me millions because of what MTN did to me. And because of this lawsuit that basically did not take off against this massive multinational corporation that is in our country, the original head office of it, because of me not having succeeded in that regard, I now just look like some kind of a derelict that ruined her own career, which is literally there's nothing farther from the truth. And with me looking like that little miscreant that does not know how to keep herself in a bunch, I saw that if I was going to basically succeed as I had always desired to succeed, I would have to start my own thing. But like I said, no venture capitalists were coming knocking on my door, neither angel investors. Nobody was prepared to finance my big fat ideas. And so I saw that I have to try and make money in a way that does not require any startup capital. And what better way to basically roll in these streets with that idea than YouTube? You just basically rock up with your big fat chunky brain in your big fat chunky forehead and just speak your big fat chunky ideas, and people subscribe to you, and after you get enough subscribers and enough watch hours, they're prepared to pay you ad revenue for it. I saw it as a boost to basically start even the things that I intended to have all along, like a pastry channel, like a decor furniture channel, like a fitness channel, and also fashion line, but not a channel per se, just make clothes. That's what's good. I've had ideas for like days and I've not been able to do them. A lot of these things require startup capital. In order to have a pastry channel, you need to have ingredients to cook, to bake. You get my point? Yeah, so I didn't have any such thing, but what I have right now, and something that I don't mind basically doing for hours on end, is the power of God in my heart and the gospel. And I then was like, okay, it was never ever my plan to monetize ministry, but I need a boost. I need to start somewhere. I need some kind of an electric juice. And this electric juice is going to help me then start other not ministries, but channels that I can monetize that have nothing to do with the gospel. Because in this dying world of ours, people hate Jesus. They loathe him with a purple passion. And so because they hate Jesus, they keep on banning his disciples on social media. I saw, therefore, that it would not be sustainable for me to maintain a monetized ministry, because it's at some point going to be demonetized. At some point, it's going to get a strike. At some point, I'm going to lose income from that particular area. And so for those reasons, you guys, I then knew that if at all I'm going to maintain monetizability in a secular space in a world that is increasingly loathful of my God, is to do something neutral, like cooking. Then nobody's gonna come at me for making cheesecake. Something neutral, like clothing, like decor, home decor. Ain't no antichrist agenda gonna be out here coming up my skirt with its creepy fingers gnawing away into my flesh like a vampire for just decorating a house. I strategized around censorship because I knew that being a truth channel, there's no way that I'm going to be swimmingly able to, keep on paying a mortgage on a monetized Christian ministry and not one day face repossession of my house because YouTube decided that you don't get to say that here. Ain't nobody gonna demonetize a decor channel. You get my point. Nobody is going to, oh goodness, I apologize. Nobody is going to demonetize a home decor channel, but I ain't got no money right now to do a home decor channel. I don't have money right now to do a real estate channel where, I have plans to, when it comes to home decor houses, like real estate, just viewing homes. And if at all they will allow me sharing with people my thoughts on certain features in the house, if at all I prosper to get big enough for them to be happy to be aired on my channel. I wanted to do something like that, like looking at big beautiful homes, stuff like that, because it's just something that I have loved for a minute. It comes from my mom. We're like that. Yeah, I had plans to basically branch out, expand in very many areas, but sister needs a boost. Sister needs her own home first to impress before she can even think about helping others decorate their own houses. Sister needs a kitchen before she can make some puff pastry. So you get my point. Yeah, and there was nobody here happy to bless me with a kitchen that I might make my cheesecake. And there was also nobody happy to bless me with a home that I might decorate it. I was not about to get sponsorships, being nobody at all, and being this alleged irresponsible rando, talking about Jesus 24 hours a day, doomsday on top of that. She's largely just kinda loco. So how about we just do what we've always been doing? Ignore the living daylights out of her, because we don't do any such rubbish in these streets. 1 minute. Yeah, I knew that nobody was going to sponsor me, so the best way I imagined would be to get myself started, would be to do something that does not need any initial capital. And of course, that was fitness in my lowly capacity, with no fitness apparel and not good enough cameras, but just start a little something. But also, what is this ministry? Because here I just rock up and I talk, and because people in the kingdom of heaven, hopefully, are not shallow, they won't care about my background, they won't care about not having the right setting, lighting, blah blah blah, all these things that you need to invest. And I just went on right ahead and commenced then the mission. And like I said, I listened to, I'm very, very distracted, guys, because of the fact that I struggle to multitask, so have mercy on me. I'm looking back there, but very soon you're gonna have my undivided attention. I cannot let it just fester in the background because I am multitasking. I have to, otherwise I'll never get all this work that I do every single day out. Yeah, we work like dogs, okay? A little sleep and a little slumber and a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will overwhelm you like a bandit, and scarcity like an armed man. Plus, when you are suffering sorrow, lack, and want, there is literally no rest. There's no time to chill, because then, like I said, you'll get taken over by poverty like a bandit. So I don't rest, I don't chill, I keep on innovating, because for as long as I am not out of this, I'm not ever going to take a break. I'm not going to essentially gain a regular working schedule, like a normal working schedule, like normal people who work for 8 hours. And then they take a 1 hour lunch in those 8 hours. And then they have leisure where they sometimes go to the mall, they watch a movie, they have pizza at the restaurant. I don't have that life. I work like a dog because I don't have leisure to do anything but work. So I gotta multitask. Like, there's always something of the ministry or of my attempts to get out of this running in the back end. Even when I'm watching Netflix, there's always something running in the back end that is work related, and that there's videos uploading on YouTube, or there is a video publishing off my video editor, or I'm always, or like the other day I was listening to sermons while running my shorts through silence detection software, and sometimes I have to manually edit the silences out, and I was doing that while listening to something else on the side. I never actually really truly am just sitting with me doing nothing. There's always something happening in the back end, and that kind of schedule I recognize is unsustainable. I will burn out. It's not healthy, but guess what? I've been rolling around in it for a whole 2 years, and I will keep doing this until I get to a point where I can also go to the mall and have some pizza, where I can also watch a movie without there being anything else that's happening, where I can also leisurely just go to the store and buy some clothes, where I can do normal life. I'm not there yet. The kingdom of heaven suffers violence, and the violent take it by force. This is me taking the kingdom of heaven by force, because I'm suffering a lot of violence from the kingdom of darkness. And like I said, a little sleep and a little slumber and a little folding of the hands to rest, and poverty will overwhelm you like a bandit, and scarcity like an armed man. I could go on, or maybe those are exchanged. Very well, so I took all the advice that I could from all these people on YouTube that give advice as to how to grow a YouTube channel. I learned the ropes. I noticed upon watching certain videos on YouTube that there are things that happen there that I wish I had going down for myself, and I would research them and find out how in the world and the heaven to do them. There was this one guy that advised how to grow a YouTube channel, and he raised that it is possible to remove silences from a video using software. I didn't know that was a thing, so I started to search for free software online to remove silences. I didn't find it at the time, but I did manage to get some kind of a donation that enabled me to purchase Filmora, the video editing software. And in Filmora, silence detection is one of its features, and I fell in love with silence detection. But then I ran out of the month with Filmora, not month, year. I ran out of subscription with Filmora, but I still needed silence detection to happen. But in the run up to me running out of all of that with Filmora, I had already found an alternative silence detection software that takes a lot more time because I have to do things manually with it, and it worked for me. And so that's the one that I use here. It's not as good as Filmora, but it works. It's good enough given that I have no money. What about a fish paste? I sought to do all that. I started to be careful about my background, what it is that you see back there. I started to be careful about how I look. You know, there was a time when I would sometimes rock up just in this grainy video, just wearing idogo, but now I actually go out of my way to look semi-decent, because I can't really look fully decent because my hair is never looking good enough. Basically, I'm trying to look as professional as I possibly can in this environment. I don't really plan the work that I do out in advance. I just come here and I speak, and God leads the way. And I'm grateful for the fact that He has awarded me the gift of the gab. And upon discovering that I have a gift of the gab, upon realizing that I can use that in a monetizable capacity, I, of course, went full force with it, trying. I worked on my speech to try and eradicate ums and oohs as much as I possibly can when I'm speaking, that I might come off as eloquently as I can. I also invested a lot in my blog, my written blog, to write articles every single day. I used some money that I was once donated to purchase a domain for WordPress, in order for me to basically have Cranberry Chronicles with a Z.com instead of at WordPress.com. And when you have a paid domain, I believe WordPress has changed that ever since. However, when you have a paid domain, you can also earn ad revenue. I started writing after purchasing that premium plan on WordPress, and I never ever got to a point of earning ad revenue, because the United States of America and a whole bunch of witches all up in my grill made a decision to never mind shadow ban me. That's a power cut, basically. Maybe that's a return of power. I don't know what's going on. They made a decision to never mind shadow ban me. Guys, I've been shadow banned everywhere. Y'all need to understand the level of targetedness that I have endured. I've been shadow banned on YouTube. I've been shadow banned on Rumble. Can you believe it? Like, Rumble is not supposed to be a censoring platform. But there was a time when I was getting decent numbers on Rumble and followers. And one day I started uploading content on there, and not even one person would watch. I noticed that there was a thwarting of my person on Rumble, and I was like, but Rumble? Why would Rumble do this? So with all these people who trust Rumble with their blood, sweat, and tears and all their heart and mind, I don't know why you trust them, because they've shadow banned me. So I no longer trust Rumble. It's not even worth my while because it grows a lot slower than YouTube. So I've just only maintained my content on YouTube. Of course, I could go so far as to say that maybe it was not Rumble, but witchcraft. I'm not really sure which of these two has afflicted my situation, but I certainly went frozen on Rumble too. I was frozen on YouTube. I was frozen on TikTok. Everywhere I went, I would grow for a season, following which I would suddenly, abruptly, overnight, just stop growing. It happened on Facebook, it happened on TikTok, it happened on Rumble, it happened on YouTube, and on Instagram. It was so terrible that I was uploading my shorts, my reels. They call them reels when they're on Instagram, just like on Facebook, because they're the same company. One day I tried to continue to upload reels on Instagram and my account was gone. So Instagram pulled the worst rug from under my feet in comparison to all these other platforms. All these other platforms let me load there for nothing, just slave labor. I was just dumping content on their platforms with me no longer being viewed by the same audiences of people, numbers that I was getting every single time I would upload something. I stopped. Yeah, but then Instagram completely disappeared my account, like altogether. It took my account away altogether. Then I was like, you know what, this is not worth it. It's not worth my time, even in the slightest. On TikTok, they kept my ministry running, right? So where it is that I was uploading gospel content, that was running and running. However, I opened a fitness page on TikTok and that disappeared. It was fitness. All I was doing was dancing. I am a Christian, so I cover my whole body. You are not going to see my stomach or my thighs or anything of that nature on the internet. So you would imagine that maybe they would bring something down because some people complained against it being indecent or whatever. No, I had some of the freshest fitness content, not freshest, but cleanest fitness content out there. There was nothing at all that I could identify for why it is that TikTok brought down my entire fitness account. When that happened, I was like, I don't know what's going on with me, but I'm targeted in a way that I cannot comprehend. I can't understand it. It's a combination, I believe, of human beings deliberately thwarting me, but also witchcraft. I do believe it's a combination. And so I minimized where it is that I uploaded my content because it was just so many places that I was uploading with my stuff going nowhere. And I got to a point where I was left with only Facebook and YouTube where I was uploading. And then it got reduced to just YouTube. I used to do shorts. I had stopped because it was just a volume of work with my content going nowhere. With me gaining no subscribers, I was completely frozen. And guys, this was for 2 years. However, prior to me getting frozen, the endeavors to grow some kind of an online business were looking promising. Because with me taking all the advice that I was given to grow a YouTube channel by all of these wonderful men and women on the internet who give such advice as that, their advice came in handy. It worked. Even the usage of TubeBuddy as an appendage to my channel to help me see how I'm doing was helping. I ended up unplugging TubeBuddy from my main channel because it was no longer worth the while for me to use their services because it did not matter. It did not matter who I was using to help me along. It did not matter what I had invested in. My silence detection didn't matter. How engaging my videos are didn't matter. What music I added didn't matter. What background I used did not matter. How much editing I put into my content just stopped mattering. No matter what I did, there was nothing at all that was fruitioning for me, a gain of subscribers, and therefore a trajectory projecting me towards what appears to be finally being able to make some kind of money, finally being able to monetize. I was just frozen on Facebook. That frozen state came at 1,000 followers on the dot. As soon as I made 1,000 followers, as soon as I got to 1,000 followers, I stopped growing on Facebook. On TikTok, I got to 300 followers within something like a month or two. A month. It was a month. I got to like 300 followers in about a month. Okay, so the first place where I was uploading was YouTube. When I saw that I was growing on YouTube, I got excited, right? And let me tell you what happened actually. I came to YouTube and YouTube was the first place where I was now going to grow myself and I was going to focus on it solely, and I had just one channel there. I took all their advice and I did a whole bunch of shorts. I made sure my long form content was this and that. I even experimented with duration of videos. So instead of doing a whole 1 hour long video, I would cut it up into like 6-10 minute videos in order to increase engagement, seeing as my channel was small, to make sure that people would linger on me, to increase what they would call the CPU and blah blah blah, all of these things. I took all their advice. I did. I took all their advice. I stopped just dumping big, long, chunky, laborious videos for a small channel. I mean, you can afford to dump a 2-hour video that'll get handsomely viewed if you're Russell Brand, but you can't do that as a new YouTuber. So I told myself that when I get to the height of Russell Brand, when I get that big, then I will just talk for 3 hours straight and trust that people will listen to me anyway, because they have developed a trust that what I say is not just a whole bunch of jibber jabber for 3 whole hours. So I started cutting stuff up, and that, of course, in terms of edits, was onerous. It was laborious. I was using Filmora, which took up a whole bunch of core processing memory on my Mac, and so sometimes my Mac would crash before these videos would publish, and I would have to, of course, if it's crashing, it's restarting again, and then I would try over and over again. And with this terrible Filmora issue that I had, I would eventually, after enough time had progressed, get the whole full 4-part or the whole full 10-part, the whole full 15-part series then uploaded on YouTube, and that's what I did. And then I did the whole shorts thing. I did shorts, and with shorts I noticed significant boosting of my numbers. Like, I grew significantly, and in very, very short spaces of time. And so I basically discovered that what they were saying about shorts was right. So I then ramped up on doing shorts, and indeed, from employing all of their advice, all of the advice of all of these YouTubers telling you or advising you how to grow your YouTube channel, I grew 200 to 300 subscribers per month. This was from the very, very beginning of my ministry. I grew 2 to 3, let me not say beginning. Remember, I already started this channel 10 years ago, but I wasn't serious. Only 2 years ago was I actually serious. And from the moment of being serious, I grew about 200 to 300 subscribers per month. So I went from 60 subscribers in 1 month. When I started, I had like 60 subscribers, and I had, by the time I was done with the first month, about 360 subscribers. So I was like, if I grow at this rate, I will inevitably be monetized by the end of the year. I will certainly have over 1,000 subscribers, and I very potentially might also be monetized, because with an increase in subscribers becomes an increase in interest in your longer form content, meaning that they're going to start to watch your that long form content, and so therefore add to your watch hours. So I imagined it was only a matter of time before I got to 4,000 watch hours. Yeah, I was going to do this consistently without taking a break, uploading multiple shorts a day, etc., etc. And after just 2 meager months, so I was sitting on something like 680 subscribers on this one channel. So I had gained another 300. It just suddenly froze. All of a sudden, I was not gaining not one subscriber. All of a sudden, I was moving at a snail's pace. All of a sudden, when I would look at my statistics, I would have a net negative growth in subscribers. In other words, some people would unsubscribe from me, but without enough people subscribing to therefore display that I have, lost my spunk or something. It was so disturbing. It was so incredibly heartbreaking, because I was so excited. I also had quite a lot of engagement from people. I was being encouraged, even though some of the people in my comments section were mean, others were great. Do you understand? I was always just being pampered with encouragement. Yeah, and then one day it just went frozen. It was literally at around the same time that I came back to YouTube that I met this monster from the US. But this guy, the relationship with that guy did not last more than 3 weeks, more than a month. We did not last. And in the immediately after coming into my life, he started to cast spells on my Facebook. He cast Facebook, my old Facebook, not a page. I would only start a Facebook page much later. Here, this was the Facebook where you have friends and you can only have a maximum of 500, the one that I've always had from long ago. That's where this guy followed me to. Do you understand? And I chatted with him. We broke up because he was an animal and a beast, and he did not make sense to be in my life. This guy, however, like from the moment that he came into my life, he was busy with sorcery. From the get-go, he was trying to block and thwart me from getting anywhere. But he's not the only person that's been very hella severely busy with me. He's not the only one. The people, the Facebook that I was using, that was my old school one, is filled with people that are desirous of my demise. They are old friends. It's family members. It's old schoolmates. Like basically the people that have participated in the mutiny against my life. All of these South Africans with all of their sorcery, much of them were my friends on Facebook. And when I was on Facebook, I tried to evangelize them. Remember, I told you guys that God is long-suffering, He's forbearing, slow to anger, abounding in steadfast love. I'd known all these years who exactly, literally with faces and everything, names, maybe even ID numbers, who it is that afflicted me. I knew it, and I was heartbroken by the level of betrayal that I had endured. As soon as I lost everything, these people displayed that they had indeed done witchcraft on me because they didn't even come to support me. But when I went back to Facebook, I didn't go there with an iron fist or even a chief whip. I was not angry. I was full of grace. I was trying to get them redeemed. I was trying to get them saved. I would basically upload posts there that are from my YouTube channel, trying to link them over to go there to watch my YouTube videos. And on top of that, I was saying, guys, I know that some of y'all have used sorcery on me, did not use names, did not call people out. And I was just saying, come to Jesus, repent, walk away from this darkness. No one took up the offer. No one took in their stride the offer for redemption. No one tried to reconcile with me based on an apology. And so therefore, upon apologizing, instead of gaslighting me, potentially fostering reconciliation with me, no one that had hurt me, the only people that contacted me that were like, hey Karabo, it's been a minute, where have you been, were those that never ever did anything to me. They never touched me with sorcery. They were just surprised that I was back on Facebook. But all the ones that God showed me had pulled stunts on me, they all just stood back and did nothing. I would imagine that all they would do, because they're humiliated, is keep quiet, stand back in a corner and do nothing. But instead of just merely standing back because they're humiliated, they actually went back to the drawing board. It's like I came back to try and reach them for Christ, and instead of them repenting upon discovering that God even exposed them and everything for sorcery, they decided to just finish me off. I then got a barrage of attacks, not just from this guy from America, but a whole bunch of my former friends, former colleagues, former former classmates, you know, people I went to primary school with, like as far back as then. They were big, like, guys, some of them had put spells on me from before even I was a Christian, before I was saved. They had already cast spells on me, you know, that kind of stuff. Like, that's just how bad South Africa is with this like random nastiness. And I told them that God showed me I have a prophetic gifting. It's water under the bridge, guys. Do a better thing, do a better thing, do a better thing. One guy we used to go to my high school, and he at some point had come to Facebook talking about Jesus on some, the Lord redeemed my soul, guys, turn to Christ, blah blah blah. I thought that he would contact me because I then had followed in his footsteps. I would later on, some years down the line from his own redemption, I would later on do exactly what he did. He didn't even reach out to me on some girl, like, don't even bother, you know how it is in South Africa. Let's just together as brethren stand together, let's just pray about it. But I also tried to reach them for Jesus, but nothing happened. He did not even reach out to me. He didn't reach out to me. I was surprised that he did not reach out to me. And in Najranong, I didn't want to bother anybody. I was just out just sharing my heart and everything. And after noticing that they were not appropriately reacting. Oh, before I would grow my channel, by the way, right? I was just uploading random, boring, weird videos on YouTube, and I was going absolutely nowhere with them. My strategies that I employed in order to grow, that would only come after I broke up with that menace from America. So there was a time when my channel was going not very far. I was growing at like a snail's pace, but just as I had come back to YouTube, I also got a flood of prophecies from God showing me that the day's gonna arrive when your channel gets quite handsomely big and you are going to get monetized. You're gonna be okay, like financially. The day is going to arrive when you are being heard and you are sharing your testimony in a way that is believable, lovable, and embraceable. It's going to happen. And I also saw this bowl of it was like a bowl of letters that was inside a bowl on the table that had a whole load of letters in them that were basically mails sent to me by people who were encouraged by my ministry. And some of those letters, inside them were like chunks of money, like people just being like, this is for all the hard work that you put in, here's like $1,000 here. Yeah, I saw that in a dream of mine, where it is that I had gotten a whole bunch of love mail, not hate mail, and some of the love mail included some pretty chunky sums of money, okay, that were awarded me by generous strangers that had found my ministry on the internet. And I shared that prophecy. I shared it. I was like, I had a prophecy where I saw a big bowl of letters chilling on my table from various people. I went on into detail to explain it. I would share these prophecies. Y'all, please, I ain't lying. If you were to go to my if you were to go to my old school Facebook, the one that I always had on the come up, it's an open page. The name of the the name of the profile is Cranberry K. Cranberry, the fruit, K spelled K-A-Y. Cranberry K. Go look up Cranberry K, and when you find Cranberry K, you and you will see there it's an open profile. There's nothing of it that is closed. I've made it completely public, like everything, because I was planning on doing ministry from there, right? So you'll be able to see it. You will see all the prophecies that I gave. The last prophecy that I gave in that Facebook was 2 years ago, not long ago then, because I finally made a decision to dust my feet off and do nothing anymore there, because I was being persecuted by them. I was being afflicted by them. I was being just ransacked and also severely ignored by them. And I kept on getting dreams of them just going to the drawing board, basically telling themselves over my dead body, telling themselves, we're going to handle you. We're going to put you in your place. We're going to show you that you're just rubbish or something. So I walked away. Therefore, the last post there will be from years ago. But despite the last post being from years ago, what needs to be comprehended is that I gave prophecies. I never mentioned anybody's names. I spoke about what God is going to do for me despite what it is that they did to me. And they made a decision, instead of repenting, to completely ignore me. And some of them also went back to the drawing board to put witchcraft on me. That was grace. That was God awarding a wicked and a reprobate, perverse generation an opportunity to not get to a point of humiliation. He was awarding them an olive branch to look clean. He was awarding them an olive branch to reconcile to me as friends, as acquaintances. He was awarding them an olive branch for it to be water under the bridge, all of them. And they spat on my toes, and they said no, and they spat on God's toes, and they said no. And then they went back to the drawing board and tried to finish off his Christian. That's what they did. During that time, I would share the prophecies of what God was showing me in abundance. My channel, when it started to grow, because in the beginning stages of being on Facebook, I was going nowhere. And then my channel started to grow, and I would show them that, look, I've told you guys that God has shown me that I'm going to get big one day. Here are the stats. Look, I've grown 300 subscribers in 1 month. By the end of the year, I'm inevitably at this rate going to be monetized. Don't you see that this is coming to pass? And it was in me sharing. It's like I was corroborating my testimony. I was corroborating the prophecy I gave with what evidenced that I'm obviously en route where it is that I say I'm going. So do better. Repent. You can't be treating God's children like this. It's been 8 years that I have lost everything. And here it is that I am starting to do something of my own now. Basically some kind of a business. And you are not repenting. You're going to be humiliated by my, recovery. Do a better thing. Like, I literally called these people to do a better thing. And the same is also true of my family members. Instead, one of my cousins that was basically privy to my content on Facebook, because we were friends over there, would every so often tell on me to my mom, who would then yell at me about stuff that I would say on the internet. And at some point, I wanted to just stop with social media altogether. But then I was like, no. I'm not going to stop, because this here is my bread and butter. It's where it is that I'm going to ultimately get my money. It's where it is that I'm going to ultimately get my life restored. So what's best is for me to essentially dust my feet off. It'll be a better day on the day of judgment for the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah and for Sidon and Tyre than it will be for all of these people. I'm going to dust my feet off because they get me persecuted by my mom. They get me persecuted by my family. And so because they get me persecuted, if I disappear from Facebook, they won't know what's going on with me. And so I will have peace to continue to upload as I desire and grow my channel. But when they noticed that I was no longer writing on Facebook or giving them updates on what's going on with my life on Facebook, they followed me to YouTube. And still to this day, they are afflicting me with sorcery. They keep on checking on what I'm doing. And the past couple of months has been especially taxing, because the closer you get to your breakthrough, the more intense demonic activity gets. And these people have been following me like a tail. They won't leave me alone. They surveil me in my channel. The main one is the one that they have access to, because that's the one that was linked to my Facebook. I started to notice that my main channel was suddenly going frozen every so often because of witchcraft spells. So when I would endure all of these freezings, I then made a decision to start a second channel. I started a second YouTube channel. I uploaded on there, and it grew. It too was growing about 200 subscribers a month. It too was growing. It got to 400 subscribers. So the first channel, I grew it over 2 months to 680 subscribers. It then froze. I opened a second channel. It then grew to 400 and something subscribers, and it froze. I then started a third channel, and the third channel grew up to 100 subscribers in something like 2 weeks. And after 2 weeks, this time around, they didn't wait for a month to progress, to finish, and it froze. Yo, guys. You know, when I started to get followed by that thing, I didn't even know what in the world to do with myself. I then started a fourth channel, and this time around, from the very beginning, it would not let me grow. From the very beginning, I could not grow no matter how many shorts I uploaded. Long form content, nothing. It's like I was, yeah, guys, hey, I've been through nonsense. I've seen flames. That's when I came to the conclusion that this thing here is not merely witchcraft. The United States of America is enabling it along. I am targeted as a human being. There is no way that it's just witches doing this. Their witchcraft is not that strong. I'm too much of a conqueror. I'm too much of a praying warrior. That's what's good. So, what therefore happened was that they got rewarded with what they wanted. And for 2 years, I would be dealing with occult men and women telling themselves, we handle people. It's like they felt like they were putting me in my place. It's like they imagined that I needed to be disciplined. That this is what happens when you come and you boast to us about what you are doing with your life. Like you don't get to live. And if you dare tell us that you're going to live, we're going to show you what we're made of. Yo, guys, I got frozen across all my channels. And so it looked as if though the prophecies that I was given, that I shared with them, were lies. And for 2 years, I would go on right ahead to conclude myself that, you know what, I was being shown the devil. The devil was the one that gave me that prophecy. The devil was the one who showed me my channel will finally monetize. The devil was the one that showed me that I will finally monetize fitness. The Lord showed me that I'm going to ultimately earn a salary from fitness. I haven't even been working out, guys. I stopped ebatung. I was consistent with exercise every single day. Now, sometimes a whole month would go by at a gym, like right now, because I am so disillusioned and I'm struggling so much to get any traction. There's little motivation in me, so I can only do one thing at a time. It's hard to keep up with motivation. And for 2 entire years, I've been frozen. My fitness channel as well. I started growing and then I just stopped. Some of my shorts there, one after the other, 0 views, 0 views, 0 views, 0 views. Yo, guys, I'm like, you followed me even in fitness for real? Just like on TikTok, where it is that they brought down, guys, an entire account. Yeah, fitness. There was nothing in my fitness channel that would warrant that kind of treatment on my person by TikTok. But TikTok decided to bring down my channel and not even a non-channel account and not even give me an opportunity to appeal. I was not even given basically any ability to make money at all. That was blocked. Eventually, the Lord started giving me dreams of this cult in South Africa, a secret society largely made up of men, extremely diabolical. It is patriarchal in its nature. I've spoken about that secret society at length. They are essentially running this whole country as we know it in South Africa. It commenced, its origins are in KwaZulu-Natal, Durban in particular, but it has branched out to all of South Africa. And the Lord was like, that society is looking at you. And what it is that you are is a threat to what they are. And that's why entire chunky social media platforms have seen it fit to smother you. They've seen it fit to disquiet you, dislocate you. Favors have been called in. When my channel on TikTok came down, not channel, it was an account, yes, fitness. That's when I was like, but this is weird. It's fitness, it's not truth. And the whole thing disappeared with there being nothing strange about it. There's nothing that I can understand why maybe TikTok might cancel or delete my ministry. Because, you know, everybody hates truth channels. But fitness, yo, guys, after that video, that's when God was like, this is a cult. And the cult of which in KwaZulu-Natal, I'd been dreaming about it ever since I was employed at MTN. It's not like this was the first time that I was dreaming about it, but the Lord was letting me know that they deliberately target Christians and those that are an special threat to them. They can close minyako, yabona, everywhere. Literally, they can call in favors and block you from doing anything because that's how they handle people who are trying to come up against them. Yes, you guys, yeah, so my TikTok account, disappeared, fitness. But when I was on when I was on YouTube and I noticed that I went frozen, and then I opened another YouTube channel and went frozen, I was like, I need to put my content somewhere. That's when I made a decision to try out TikTok. And on TikTok, I was flying hotcakes, baba. I was flying hotcakes. People were taking up my content, and with TikTok, I think it was within 2 weeks that I disappeared. Got TikTok, it was 2 weeks. 2 to 3 weeks. I didn't disappear. My account was still there. My ministry was still there. Do you understand? But I went from growing. TikTok was faster than YouTube. It was like weeds. You all know how it is with TikTok. YouTubers go to TikTok to grow their channels. You can get 1 million followers on TikTok in a month if you have one thing that trends. It's ridiculous. And then you can take all of those people and take them over to Facebook, to YouTube, and then grow your channel that way. So got TikTok within 2 weeks in Jafela, I was sitting on 300 followers, and I got all these comments, and it was also largely a South African base, so I was really happy about that. Yeah, guys, I was cool, man. I was good. I was peachy. I was la-di-da. I was great on TikTok. And with TikTok having giving me encouragement despite YouTube now completely frozen. Freezer TikTok as well. Yo, guys, as man, I've been put through rubbish as well. Yes, like I've been put through so much rubbish. Then they froze TikTok, and TikTok, it was worse than YouTube, the way it was so frozen. It's like I wasn't like getting on TikTok. You get the view, like nobody was looking at me anymore. I'm like, but what happened to my base? The 300 people that I garnered for myself in 2 weeks. Are you gonna tell me even they are not interested in seeing what's going on with me? Thankfully, 1 or 2 of them followed me to YouTube, and I think still to this day they watch my content. So I guess like the Lord knows who are his, the sheep, you know, the remnant. They will every so often follow you around and have your back and pray for you and all that jazz. I noticed that one girl was from TikTok because there was the same name, and she was always commenting on my stuff type thing, and I was grateful for her type thing, for both of them that followed me. But I stopped with TikTok, especially on the day when TikTok made a decision to freeze not freeze but delete my fitness. That's when I noticed, okay, and I'm targeted, and there's nowhere that I'm gonna go on TikTok. If they deleted my fitness, then I can forget about ministry. So I abandoned ministry. It was not cancelled, it was not deactivated, nothing. It's just sitting there gathering dust. I abandoned it because I realized it's a waste of time. And in the run up to me abandoning it, I had gotten a dream of TikTok being like a Coca-Cola bottle. Not bottle, can. A Coca-Cola can that is compressed, you know, like grabbing a can and crunching it up like a piece of paper. I got a dream of TikTok being like that and it being thrown away. That was the Lord showing me that you're ultimately going to get out of TikTok because it will be worthless for you to go there. The way I realized Uti, South Africa has got alliances with China. So they called in a favor to block me from growing in my ministry, and wherever it is that the software would recognize my body, my face, in any other channel, it would get deleted. I opened 2 fitness accounts on TikTok and both were cancelled. I opened another ministry account on TikTok and it disappeared. That's when I realized, Uti, I'm not gonna get anywhere. They have, however, kept my main one running, but everything else that I try to start on TikTok, it disappears. Guys, it just disappears. I will be there for 1, 2, 3 days. And then I will try and go in there and it'll say account has been suspended. You won't even know why. No email, nothing. No SMS, nothing telling you what's going on. To a point where I got to believe that TikTok doesn't have an appeals process until I found out through one YouTuber whose TikTok account was deleted entirely that appealed and his account was put back. I was like, how? Ganti, you can appeal on TikTok. I thought that it didn't have manners or rules of that nature. No, they did. They just did not care to award me in particular an appeals process to ask why did you remove my account, because they knew that if at all I had appealed, they would have no reason to not reinstate it. They would have to reinstate it because there was nothing at all of a community guideline that I violated that would warrant a cancellation of an entire account. Yeah, okay, that's what happened on TikTok. I just moved on. I walked away, I accepted, I took it in my stride, and then I started I started Facebook. I was never going to go back to Facebook, but I made a decision to start a Facebook page. Yeah, my Facebook page was the longest standing left alone platform where I was uploading anything. It was the longest standing left alone. And I have reason to believe that the reason why Facebook stood for the longest was because favors that were called in to thwart me on YouTube and also on TikTok, they could not quite get to Facebook. They could not explain, like, I don't know, like they just could not get to the admin staff or the people in the back end at Facebook to do that to me. They couldn't get to them early enough. So on Facebook, I thought that this was it now, that I was going to swimmingly grow. A lot of people got issues with Facebook, but I was having such a good time. It is therefore why I managed to get to 1,000 followers in something like 2 months on Facebook. I got to 1,000 followers in 2 months. And 1,000 followers, once you get there on Facebook, you can monetize your reels, you can monetize your shorts. Insofar as you get a certain number of views on that reel, you will be able to monetize, and you will also be able to get gifts from people or whatever. They made sure that I can't monetize, because the only way that you can earn revenue from a monetized reel is if people actually watch it. So when I hit 1,000 followers on YouTube, not YouTube, but page, yeah, Facebook, everything all of a sudden froze. I was growing so handsomely on Facebook, guys. It was beautiful. Some days I would get like 30, 40, 50 whole followers like in one day. It was beautiful. By now on Facebook, if I was not thwarted like that, I am sure that I would likely be sitting on 100,000 followers by now. It was growing so swimmingly. It was going to be bigger than YouTube, bigger than TikTok. Nothing grew more than what Facebook did for me. But now I'm stranded on 1K followers. You can go to all of my links of all of my various places where I upload content. You will see what I'm talking about. You will also see when was the last time I uploaded. However, I've recently returned to Facebook. You will notice, if at all it is possible to see, how many views it is that I got from a certain date, and then all of a sudden the sudden plunge in my views from the next date. It was all so heartbreaking, and it was all intended to make me stop. The main intention of doing that to me was to make me stop with ministry. It was to make me shut up and go nowhere. Why would they want me to stop? Because I am calling out the kingdom of darkness, the gangrene. Like, there is something evil operating in this country that needs to be uprooted. It is monolithic and it is destructive, and it's literally rotting South Africa from the core. And those who belong to this organization don't want to heal the country because they want to keep it running, when it has obviously produced these results in the country. It has produced gender-based violence. It has utterly shattered our electric grid. It has messed with our economy. It has put nothing but corrupt presidents in power. Our corporates are also being run by corporate leaders, by corrupt leaders. The country is dying. It's reeling. It's near on impossible to live in South Africa, and this cult is single-handedly responsible for causing all the irresponsible decisions that were made by leadership in this country to a point of getting us to where we're at now. It is not healing, it's not beneficial, it's destructive, and like I said, it has caused a lot of gender-based violence because it's patriarchal in its nature. It's made up of a whole bunch of Zulu men that had a typical Zulu strategy to patriarchize an entire country. Like, they wanted to make it a largely male-dominant economy, and so thwart the careers of women. And the end result is this. It is this. It is exactly what it is that South Africa is. Women are being butchered, massacred, murdered when they resist the status quo of being thwarted. The country has got men in it that love to slap women, forcing them to be with them. There is just a very strong culture of coercion in this country. And it all stems back to some cult started in just shortly after the democracy in this country was established, 1994. It started around back then. And for like 30 to 40 years, it has been pecking away at the country, brick by brick. And now, with the results that we are seeing as a result of Satan running the country, these men can't even down tools to see that since South Africa, they have destroyed the whole country. So when then there are people trying to hold on to power, even though they have to be uprooted, that the whole cult is responsible for why the ANC has strangely stayed in power, even though it has done nothing for this country. That's what, I've been talking about this. So when you've got such a prolific cult, a secret society looking at you, they can pull in calls because there are important men that run this country that belong to this cult who can make in a call to Xi Jinping to basically pull the plug from a TikTok account of some woman in South Africa that keeps on rapping, and every time your software recognizes her face, make sure she goes nowhere. Suspend her accounts and make it impossible even to appeal. They can make a call to the local head offices or headquarters or whatever of YouTube in South Africa to lock me up, or to the US. Pull in a favor for me and I will pull in a favor for you. Something happened that targeted me from a corporate level that was apart from sorcery, that made it such that all of my accounts just kept on freezing. And the last one to capitulate was Facebook. And these accounts, the way that they have so flagged me, whenever I go back, it's almost as if whatever it is that they put on me every so often doesn't work. And so when I go back, all of a sudden I grow again, and then I suddenly freeze. It's like they notice, oh, she's back, please, stop her again. She's back, oh, please, stop her again. If I can't speak because of all of that, I then went on to conclude that I guess I'm not supposed, what I saw was not true. What the Lord revealed to me about what's happening, that was not true. I obviously must have seen something from the devil, because it can't be prophecy, because obviously this is going to result in a martyrdom. It got me hating South Africa like no man's business. I am so afflicted, but in all of my affliction, abandon Jesus never. Abandon Christ, dream on. So this guy from America was essentially helped along by an evil country's worth of occult men. He was helped along by what would be the tantamount of the deep state, but across the globe, to silence certain voices. Calls were made to thwart me. But God was like, do not lean on your own understanding. Trust in me. In all of your ways acknowledge me, and I will make your paths straight. Where from the moment everything of mine fell, dead end, stop. Suddenly, all these other amateur witches that kept on afflicting me, like my former friends from Facebook, former colleagues, former classmates, etc., the random buffoon from America, like all these people started to think that they did it. They started to think that they were these powerful, like little Godzillas walking through a town, quaking the streets as they walk through a town. They started to think that my channel is frozen because their magic wands are working, without realizing that I am being looked at by a prolific satanic secret society in this country that hosts some pretty powerful men and women in this country, and I, just as a mere little praying Christian, am a threat to them, just as Christians in this country are a threat to them at all. They've got a whole mission to eradicate Christianity from the country. Why? Because of the fact that we're the only ones that can actually stand up against their missions. We're the ones that thwart them. We're the ones that make it impossible for them to succeed 100% in what they're trying to do. And so they have like a concerted and a calculated mission to eradicate Christians as much as possible, and worse off even if that particular Christian or those particular Christians being spoken of are aware of what's going on. If God has given them prophecy, the Lord says it is written in his word that he does nothing without showing his servants the prophets. So if the Lord wants to uproot a secret society from out of a country, he will show one of his prophets, or 2 or 3 or 10. So those that have been shown what is going on, more so, or they be then silenced. And I just so happen to be, unfortunately, one of them. So basically God was telling me, do not fear man, but me, because man can kill you only and thereafter do nothing. But when you fear me, I've got power to kill them and throw their souls into flames. So God has been giving me power to speak, and he's been giving me prophecy to speak to these people through my ministry. Pretty much every day I come here and I lament and I speak about what God is showing me about these nefarious men, some of whom have got the actual brazen audacity to fall in love with me and try to see if they can't make me a second wife, try to see if they can't divorce their wives and be with me, try to see if they can't make me listen to this, a mistress, try to see if they, like, you know, when you are watching a cute little beautiful girl complaining on the internet, huffing and puffing and blowing the house down like the big bad wolf, and then you end up having a crush on her, and the next thing you decide that, okay, look, I will take care of you. I will fix this little silly life of yours. I'll take care of you. My whole cult wants nothing to do with you, but if you agree, you can come and be with me. Because of my spiritual gifting, they've also now desired to recruit me into their occult because they think that I've got powers that they can use. Type establishment thing, one of their little seers or whatever, they have tried to bring me into their kingdom. And in every endeavor of theirs has the Lord shown me what he's rather going to do with them. You're going to die. You're going to do that. Yeah, basically just a whole bunch of deaths are coming. But like one by one, they're going to drop like flies. Bah, 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 bah. It's going to look like it's just a heart attack. It's going to look like it's just a car accident. You get my point. And these random wannabe powerful people ain't got jack on Christ. They keep on having meetings in diabolical areas. They are blood drinking, human sacrifice doing. They've tried to kill me multiple times as well. Nothing is working. Nothing is working. They have pushed me to the precipice, pretty much end of my life, and every single time when I have been taken to that edge, I've been brought back by God. He has renewed my strength, mounted me up with wings like eagles, helped me run and not faint, walk and not grow weary. And my recovery has exhausted them. It has convicted some of them of sin, but it has also created a resolve and a bravado to finish me off in others. And those that have a resolve and a bravado to finish me off, they're the ones that are going to enter one by one into the flames of hell. I had a dream of a whole bunch of people involved in the occult arriving in hellfire at the same time. In other words, they died more or less at the same time. Not in hellfire, but in the banking place in the run-up to being taken to where they need to go. It's like they had just died and were facing the judgment, and it was inevitable they would go to hell. I had a dream of a whole bunch of people arriving in that space all at the same time, with God showing me one after the other, they are going to drop dead. They're going to get into car accidents. They're going to this and that. But there will be others that will walk away. There will be others still that will give up. These people are the reason why I've been lamenting the way that I've been lamenting. The whole thing about being the side piece of some married man. I find it bizarre that anybody would even try to understand, to do that with me. And yet these people are like that. Bayangifuna, high and low now. It's like, I like to use this example. Imagine Hitler in some concentration camp in Nazi Germany, developing a crush on a Jewish girl, and it being just so taboo for him to have a crush on a Jewish girl, given how he feels about her, given how he feels about her people. These men are diabolical devil worshippers that hate Christians with a purple passion. But some of them have gone on right ahead to fall in love with a Christian girl, and they don't know whether they're coming or going. So the only way that they can cope and survive with their adoration for a Christian woman is to convert her to one of them. to whatever it is that they are. Like Hitler literally falling in love with a Jewish girl. Did I say German? I want to say Jewish girl. Hitler falling in love as the big fat chunky Nazi that he is with a Jewish girl. It would be taboo. And that's what these men are all up in. For a wife. Being as devil worshipping as they are, they're entirely naive. But they're gonna die in their numbers if they don't repent. And the only reason why God has given them these 2 years for me to suffer under them like this is in order to bring them home, because for a whole decade I've been suffering under these cults in the country. And now finally one of them actually put their eyes on me shortly after my channel was commenced on YouTube, recommenced, it was reignited. And upon finding me, because they're such a lofty secret society, they prospered to freeze me in a very strange, anomalous, creepy way. And them freezing me made all of these other amateur witches, all of these other psychopaths on the streets, on the left and on the right, think that it's their witchcraft that's working. It made my ex-boyfriend think it's his witchcraft. It made this monster, Wako America, think it's his witchcraft. It made my former friends think it's their witchcraft. It made some former guys that I never used to date, but they were in my life for a season because they went to school with them, everything. Yeah, it made them think it's their sorcery. So now it caused this cult in the country, essentially caused, listen to this, witches in South Africa that would have otherwise have endured ramifications for their actions. Imagine that this stuff is the only thing that works. They have so targeted a Christian that it made people who have been dabbling on an amateur level with sorcery think that this is the only weapon to survive life with. It made them believe this is the only way to get from the one date to the next. My ex-boyfriend thoroughly thinks that he just waves a magic wand and he gets what he wants. They're not even wise enough to open their eyes to realize that what their sorcery has achieved against my life is incomparable to what it has achieved in the lives of other people that they've cast spells on. In other words, it has not worked as swimmingly in the lives of other people as it has with me. It's almost as if though I'm super sensitive to it because it works all the time with me, except it's not working with me. Strings have been pulled, favors have been pulled to actually cut wires in telecommunications networks, in platforms on social media to block me from going anywhere. It is a physical sabotage, not a spiritual one, that's happening to me. But witches think it's their witchcraft. Understand, if sorcery worked as well as it apparently is working on me 24 hours a day, nobody would live, nobody would breathe, nobody would marry, nobody would have babies, nobody, you get my point, because these people are everywhere and they keep on slapping everyone. So essentially this cult has single-handedly caused greater evil in the country. It just worsened the state of the wicked. They were busy experimenting with witchcraft already. Like the guy in America, he was busy experimenting with voodoo in his own backyard. And this cult, the favors that they pulled in a physical capacity, made that fool in America think that he has got me under his spells. So essentially, whoever is about to perish, pass away, die from God judging all of these people is going to die having been deceived by a cult in the country that wanted to keep its power. South Africans are dropping like flies because these people don't want to be exposed. But something is currently happening in my channel. I am all of a sudden back to gaining subscribers. All of a sudden, I am back to growing on especially YouTube. Facebook is still passing me some little shade, but I'm not restored as fully as I was before. It's like I'm still shadow banned, but not as badly as before. So now, when I upload shorts, they're actually getting viewed. And people are subscribing. And I'm looking at this and I'm scared. I'm like, God, is this it? Have we arrived at the place of breakthrough? Am I finally boarding the airplane, despite having had a hard time getting even to the airport? Is this the date that you told me about? Is this those prophecies that you gave me coming to pass? Is this it? Because I don't understand. I noticed that I'm growing in subscribers. I don't know why though. Because it's not like all these years, like these past 2 years, it's not like I haven't tried to go back to doing shorts. It's not like I haven't tried to upload long form content. I'm growing again. And I don't know how long it's gonna last or if at all this is like, I do not know what's going on. The past couple of years I've been fasting, guys. I've been praying and nothing has been lifting off me, evidencing that this stuff is not spiritual. It's physical. It's human beings that have pressed a button and they won't unpress it. Fasting works to kick out demons. Fasting works to kick out entities, spirits. But when a human being is stubborn, recalcitrant, they will keep pressing a button. Demons are pious and they're more pious than human beings. They tremble in the sight of God. They can't just say no when the Holy Spirit is moving. But human beings are the ones that can flat out say no to God. They can. They can rebel against God in a way that entities just can't. And I've been dealing with human rebellion for the past 2 years. And for whatever reason, the past couple of days, days. It's been maybe like just over a week. I have been noticing an increase in my subscriber numbers across all of my channels. All of my channels. And on Facebook, I've been getting direct messaged by people just interested in the work that I'm doing. So there is engagement happening, even though the numbers are still kind of low. It's like they have removed their foot from the pedal, but not completely. To shatter me, to slow me the living daylights down. Meaning that now all that I'm facing are witches and their witchcraft, and that's like child's play. It's nothing. One little day of fasting, boo, the guy's fallen on the street. So essentially, every last witch that imagined I was under their clutch is about to be humiliated. Because I was never under the clutch of witches. I was under the clutch of a very megalomaniacal deep state. I was under the clutch of people that called in a favor. And they have either died, the people who called in this particular favor, or they've decided to concede. They have decided to just leave me alone. Something is happening, and I don't know what's brought it about. Whether or not a man has died, a woman has died, the person that was calling in a favor, the person that was bribing, that was keeping a person shadow banned across YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, TikTok, and WordPress. I'm so scared that at this point I'm noticing that my subscriber numbers are growing. I also noticed, even though I haven't written in months, that yesterday I went to my stats on my blog. I got viewed. They're busy. My blog is slightly busy. And I would imagine that the reason why my blog is busy is only because of people following me from YouTube. Indeed, you can see on the stats page where it is that people were directed to your blog from. And there's quite a few from YouTube, so they get curious about me and then they go to my blog. But WordPress also did shadow ban me. WordPress, my blog. I'm very transparent with how it is that I'm sharing the word of the Lord. I made it clear that I'm writing in a blog. I made it clear that I got a TikTok, I have a Facebook, I have a Rumble, I have a YouTube, and 4 YouTubes at that. And I also have a fitness, and all of those places have been shadow banned. They've been quietened. I'm still uploading on Facebook right now, the Reels, and I am uploading on YouTube. I have not gone back to TikTok, and I don't intend to go back. And I have not gone back to Rumble. I don't intend to experiment with that either. But I definitely love my blog. I want to see if I can't go back into my blog. And my blog right now, with the kinds of stats that I'm getting, just because people on YouTube are seeing me, it was flatlined. It was like there was nothing. Some days I would go into my blog and literally nobody would have looked at my blog for a whole month, for an entire month. Despite not looked at by anybody for an entire month in my blog, I would get emails every so often from search engine optimization experts trying to get me to pay them a fee to optimize my blog. And I'd be thinking in my mind, even my YouTube, I've gotten a lot of emails from SEO experts on some will help you grow your YouTube channel. And all I could think in my mind was, y'all don't understand. This is spiritual. Not only is it spiritual, it's active sabotage. There's no amount of search engine optimization that you can do to improve my particular ministry or my particular YouTube channel, my particular whatever, to cause people to come to me, because I've been blocked from a level that is impossible to employ all of your tricks and things that you pull out of your hat on. It's impossible. I've got to have somebody remove their grubby hands from my cookie jar. That's what I'm waiting for. So therefore, because I have no faith in man, I have not expected to ever come out of this. And because I've not expected to ever come out of this, I've continued to work, nje, hoping to get rescued by a person, at least one person that will see my content, instead of take myself out of this through making money. I've expected that the way that I'm going to get taken out of this is through a good Samaritan. I spoke about that the other day. In other words, I keep on remanufacturing what God is likely doing, because what he showed me at first, it appeared to me like it's impossible. And this week, I've been growing. And I'm wondering why. What's going to happen? Are they going to thwart me again? Am I going to get blocked again? I'm not scared of witchcraft. What I'm scared of is that footprint chilling on a button somewhere in YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. You get my point. That's preventing me from going anywhere. That foot is the bane of my existence, because I can't cast it out in the name of Jesus. I can cast out the demons of witches, but not that foot. And so if that foot is truly off my chest, witches, you're going to get humiliated. Abantu abathagathayo, former friends, former colleagues, classmates, Magdala, I'm going to monetize by the end of 2024. I might even have an apartment. If this foot stays off my chest, there is no way my channel is going to stay stagnant. No way. I am so scared that I don't even want to go and experiment to see if I upload on TikTok, if I'll go anywhere. I'm scared to see what's going to happen if I put stuff on Rumble. I'm scared to see what's going to happen if I write a post on my blog, to see if I will suddenly get more likes than was the case before. Because whatever it is that has been removed off my chest on YouTube has been removed across all my 4 channels. Meaning that it's likely that I am also freed on Facebook, ever so slightly. Look, YouTube has still shadow banned me. I'm not growing at the height I'm supposed to grow. That much is a fact. But even with this, within the shadow banned state, there is some kind of traction I am making. I'm like a regular shadow banned person now. Not the random rubbish that was the case before, where I'm just sitting on 0 views, like frozen. with this level of quality of content. It's like they saw that if at all they're going to look normal, they can't carry on with me like this. And so I'm sitting here wondering, God, what is this? Should I trust that I'm going to keep growing even though it's slower than normal? It's not at the height. I'm like, proper, guys. I'm gifted. I'm skilled. If YouTube let me fly like a bird, like I'm Nelly Furtado, I would monetize even by April. But this might take all the way up until the end of 2024. But at least it's some kind of traction that is visible that I can see I will likely make. That much is a given. But I'm not sure if it's gonna last. I'm growing. I can see that I've started to move again, however slowly. But I don't know if it's going to stick. All I know is somebody's either dead or they've repented. Or even though they have not repented to Jesus, they're scared of my prophecies. And so they have removed their grubby feet from the pedal that has essentially blocked my everything. People are getting reached. And if I could get to some stubborn, monolithic monstrosity belonging to a cult in this country, who are you? Who's just a mere friend on Facebook? Who are you? Who's just a mere best friend Wakdala? Who are you? Who's just some ex-boyfriend Hlongwane? Who are you? Y'all have been warned. And you're about to face a severity of humiliation because some of the biggest and baddest people in the country are repenting because of my ministry. The Lord kept me speaking to them for a year, 2 years. He was like, keep on coming, rocking up, because even though nobody else is listening to you or watching you, they are. They keep tuning into your ministry. Tell them where to get off. And some of them will believe. And those who don't believe, I will personally end their lives. And that whatever it is that's blocking you is going to end. He has been showing me that you're close to your breakthrough, close to your breakthrough, close to your breakthrough. And I don't know what in the world he meant by my release. But bottom line is, I'm starting to notice the first inklings of getting out of this. But I don't know how long it's going to last. I'm afraid, I'm very scared. But more than anything, I'm afraid and scared for everybody who thought that their witchcraft was working against a Christian. You are gonna be humiliated. Humiliated. I am feeling kind of sad for my family. I'm feeling sad for my former friends because they did not repent on time. They were sitting around waiting for me to just be demised, like merely just exist until I just don't anymore. That's what my former people that used to be in my life did. They sat back and watched a woman die. And now those very same prophecies I prophesied in the beginning are coming to pass. I'm gaining numbers. I have started moving again. And with me moving again, what? Are you going to keep on casting spells? I believe I'm at my breakthrough. I really do. I believe I'm at my breakthrough. And if I am, this is the suddenly of the wicked. Though the righteous man may fall 7 times, he gets up each time, but the wicked are suddenly overcome by calamity. Turns out all that's needed for a saint to get set free is for the king of the country to repent, and not so much the citizens on the ground. Sometimes all you need for a person to be set free out of prison is for the most important person that can ever repent to repent. And that's what happened with Joseph. Pharaoh did a better thing. It was not the warden in the prison. It was not fellow prisoners. It was not the Egyptians around. It was not Potiphar. It was not Potiphar's wife. It was not even the cupbearer or the baker. It was Pharaoh that made a decision to take Joseph out of prison. So it turns out when a Christian is just incarcerated, they don't need to rely on the repentance of the land around. Just one powerful man. And then it's over for everybody that wreaked havoc in their lives. So do you see just how worthless it is to worship the devil? Because all it takes is for God to change the heart of one man. It's written in God's word that the heart of a king is like a stream of water in the hands of the Lord, and he will chart it in whatever direction he will have it go. You could not have imagined that 10,000 salivating, dastardly, perverted men on the internet can cast Korobela spells on me and me be blocked from ever meeting my husband. You can't possibly think that I would have to fight those 10 beastly perverts. You can't imagine that I was literally at the mercy of 20 jealous women. You can't think that I was at the mercy of strangers on the internet casting spells on an innocent woman they don't even know. You can't imagine that I was at the mercy of all of South Africa that does not love Jesus. Because on that day, I never would ever breathe. You literally cannot have thought that way. It was irrational. But you thoroughly thought that I was under the control of as many witches as could possibly wave a magic wand. How unfortunate now it will be for you now that you're about to get humiliated. Now that I'm about to get my life restored again. It looks like it's happening. But I was even scared to speak about this because some people feel as if though, Karabo, don't you talk. Because the moment you open your mouth, Tina, sizokubonisa ama flames. But then I remembered that I fear God and not man. So I came here and I shared that I've started to notice that my account is growing again. I'm growing again. And this very potentially might be my breakthrough. I was never at your mercy, witches. I was never at your mercy, South Africa. I was only ever at the mercy of Jesus Christ, who it was in his power to turn the heart of whoever was the only person that was necessary to turn the heart of, because now my ministry is moving again. It's moving again. You've been naive this entire time. I would implore you to repent. But like I said, there are people chilling in a quadrant of my Johari window that will never come back into my life because they displayed with their wickedness that they were happy that I should pass away. But hey, there's still heaven to be embraced. I hope you've been edified. I'll to spawn how this thing pans out in the long run. I'm signing out in Christ's name, Cran K. Bye.